Welcome back to ASBR Boxing's YouTube channel. Delighted to be joined by Elliot Grigg. We're in final prediction mode as Chris Billam-Smith defends his WBO World Cruiserweight title against Richard Riakporhe. The rematch, of course, at Selhurst Park, Saturday night. As I said, in London. Before we get into our final predictions, Elliot, just for anyone new to the channel, perhaps, please do hit the subscribe button and like the video, share with your friends. Let us know in the comments your thoughts on our outlandish opinions perhaps that we're about to come and give you. So without further ado, Elliot, I'll come to you first and ask you for your final prediction. How does Billam-Smith Riakporhe 2 go down tonight?
Well, first off, thank you for that eloquent introduction. I think you and I did the preview show, didn't we? We were back in Riakporhe on that one, and frankly, having seen the way and having seen the fight week build up, etc., my view hasn't changed. Hasn't changed on that at all. It's been quite a respectful build up. Not too much has gone on flashpoint wise in that respect, but I think I just see Riakporhe as being, he won the first fight. Yes, Billam-Smith is better version of Billam-Smith than it was in that fight. Massive victory over Okoli, obviously. Real credit for that. I think, to be honest, for me, I look at that and I think, kind of as I see like Taylor Catterall, I feel like Billam-Smith fought the perfect fight that night. Got a bit lucky with the ref as well, like kind of trying to stop Okoli doing his usual tricks. Massive marquee victory. But I just feel like Billam-Smith, and this is a horrible thing to say about someone who I actually do like and is obviously also a world champion, but I also feel he's quite limited in some ways as a fighter. And I feel like Riakporhe doesn't have those same limitations. And I think he'll have too much actually for Riakporhe. So for Billam-Smith. So I'm going to go. I know you were flirting with a late stoppage, and I said I wouldn't be surprised necessarily. In the preview, I'm not obviously putting any spoilers. I'm probably favouring Riakporhe points. I think Billam-Smith will have enough to get to the bell, but equally, to be honest with you, I think your shout of maybe a late stoppage is not a bad one. Sort of post 9, I can see that happening as well. But I'm gonna back Billam-Smith to make the bell and lose on points.
Very interesting, mate. Very interesting. Yeah, I mean, and similarly, you saying about you can kind of see where I'm coming from with my previous prediction from the preview. I totally do see where you're coming from there. I mean, we've never, there's nothing to tell me or to tell us that Chris Billam-Smith could get stopped because he's never been stopped before. Obviously, he has been dropped that once, I believe, by Riakporhe. It's a standing count, or it was he was took a knee. I can't really remember too well, but I know that he did get counted in the previous fight. But I think that's the only time he's ever been anywhere near the canvas. It's kind of testament to Riakporhe's power because Chris Billam-Smith, yeah, it sounds weird because he's only lost that one fight to Riakporhe, and we're maybe talking about him getting hit too easily, but it hasn't done him any harm, has it really? Because he's won every single fight bar the first Riakporhe one. Took a lot of punishment from even like Masternak was kind of landing at will. Even the Isaac Chamberlain fight, there was times in that where he was just taking a lot of shots. A few other fights, I even go back to I remember what do you call that guy? Oh, I can't remember now, but I think it was one of the fight camps. After the Tommy McCarthy fight, he took a few shots and stuff as well. Yeah, that's just clearly got a fantastic chin. So in saying that, there's nothing to go off. Perhaps weakness in the armor, a chink in the armor of Smith's chin. I am going to stick with what I said, and my final prediction hasn't really changed a lot. I'm going to go with Richard Riakporhe to win this fight. I'm going to go with the late stoppage. Round wise, kind of difficult to pick one particular, but kind of 8, 9, 10. I'm kind of seeing. Wouldn't surprise me if it was 11 or 12. Right up to the final bell. I think. What makes this interesting, mate, is we obviously have been in our one of our group chats. There's quite a diverse opinions on this fight. You've got Billam-Smith, people thinking he's winning on points, maybe even a stoppage. Then you've got Riakporhe on points, stoppage as well, early, late. It's kind of a mixture, a cocktail of it all. It's kind of testament to the fight. And yeah, I do believe Richard Riakporhe will have a little too much for Chris Billam-Smith. So yeah, doesn't really think he's Billam-Smith too easy to hit, doesn't move his head too much, and does plant his feet. What I do want to ask you though, mate, kind of now after giving your prediction, you've said Riakporhe wins and wins on points, but does his, I suppose it's not really inactivity because he's had fights, but does his ring time kind of worry you at all? he hasn't been, even the fights that he has had of late, quite a lot of them have been early stoppages. Does it worry you that he hasn't fought at this level, over 12 rounds or even 10 rounds or whatever in quite a long period of time?
That is actually a very, very valuable concern for you. I think if you're Billam-Smith, I suppose, to be honest with you, you're looking to probably try and test that out. You're looking to obviously try and take him beyond sort of 6, 7, 8. I think. I mean, what was it, Jack Massey? His last 12-round fight, which is a bizarre one considering, considering Jack Massey, the sort of golf I actually hold both fighters to be in. It was quite a while ago, obviously, as well. But yeah, blasting guys out, sort of fourth round, second round. I think he went 8, didn't he, with Dion Juma, something like that. So I think I suppose you look at that and go, yeah, that's probably the most credible distance he's kind of gone. But I think it does concern me a little bit, but equally, I feel like with Billam-Smith, I mean, you look at Billam-Smith's record, 13 KOs in sort of 19 fights. Weirdly, though, I'd probably have Riakporhe as carrying more power than Billam-Smith. I think Billam-Smith's got that sort of volume, and he's obviously got a great engine. We know that, but I'm not entirely sure he's just going to like clip Riakporhe with the sort of power that you expect to get him over. So in a way, maybe he can outcondition him, maybe he can take him late. But I still think if he does do that, it'll be points for Billam-Smith. That's the only way I think he can win. I don't think he's going to stop Riakporhe. So for me, it's a concern, but it's not so much of a concern. I mean, he had the injuries. Well, the injuries are a concern as well, but I still, like I said, it just sounds harsh to say this, but I still think that Billam-Smith is quite limited in style and approach. I feel like you know what you're going to get from a Billam-Smith fight. And I feel like Riakporhe being bigger and carrying power can also kind of has more sort of options in how to sort of approach it tactically as well. And he also has that power to kind of maybe keep Billam-Smith a bit on the back foot as well. So it's a concern, but I don't think it's enough of a concern, frankly, for me to sit here and frankly think Billam-Smith's going to overcome him, because I don't believe that to be the case.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I think on a final note that I would like to say, I think, a lot of people have said Chris Billam-Smith's improved vastly from their first fight, 5 years ago? But you can't say that Billam-Smith's improved and Riakporhe hasn't. He's clearly improved as well. It's not like Billam-Smith's gone from here to here and Riakporhe's just kind of stayed at that level. He's obviously improved as well. So yeah, interesting one, mate. I think that's where we'll leave it. Guys, let us know your thoughts on this fight. Selhurst Park, of course, a few other decent fights on the undercard, but how does this one go? How does the rematch between Chris Billam-Smith and Richard Riakporhe go? Let us know in the comments. Let us know if we're talking nonsense. And yes, Elliot, as always, a pleasure.
Thank you very much, mate. And as always, guys, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe, like Paul said. Bye-bye.